So the world's best long drive coach, Lee Cox, got me doing this going through the golf ball, which is absolutely opposite to what so many amateur golfers are doing. But for me, it freed up so I could hit some really good, consistent shots with nice distance with trying to swing it, almost feeling slower as a result of doing it, but it will be picking up speed at the right time going through the golf ball. And absolutely, it is this move here. So like we see like the likes of David Duval, Annika Sorenstam, we see Dustin Johnson, Henrik Stenson, they all do this move, and that is releasing the head, so not the club head, your actual head as we're moving through the golf ball. So even like with David Duval, how we see him looking at the target before he even gets to impact. So world's best long drive coach, Lee Cox, been coached for many, many years. This is way back in the day we had this lesson, and this was to free up my chest rotation, because my problem was I could put a pretty good swing at it, but then coming into the golf ball, my chest would just come to a screeching halt. So I'd swing through the golf ball, don't put any chest rotation in, and that was a very exaggerated what would happen poorly from there. I snap hooked it, and that could absolutely happen, because if my chest was slowing down going through the golf ball, that means, of course, my body isn't going to be governing what the club's doing through the shot. So that means I'm going to have lots of hand and arm rotation. So I could have a club path that would be a little bit from the inside, which is very normal for me, but the club face would be really turning over because my chest has stopped turning. So even when I go and strike a good one, I mean, it will be okay, but it'll be quite high and just not that long. Because again, I mean, that was a better strike there, but we can still see a little bit left. And for example, I'm hitting a 6-iron there, and it's only carried 160 for me. Now, it's not bad, absolutely, but for a professional, not great. So why it would go high and left, as we know, hands and arms can take over very easily. That can make the ball go quick left. So if that chest slows down, we can easily get that early release going through the golf ball, adding loft, ball going way, way, way up. So that is where, if I hit one more, what he saw was very post-impact. I did one swing where I was like that. So look where my head is. See how that head is still kind of angled down towards the ground. It took me ages to get me to actually release my head. So of course, that is a byproduct of a lack of chest rotation. So like a lot of amateur golfers try to do, they try to keep their eyes down for so unbelievably long because they believe that's the key to swinging good. Now, keeping in your posture, not coming out like that, absolutely. But keeping the eyes down was hurting so many golfers, and it was hurting me. So what we did, we started off doing this little drill here. Now this driving range, this is at the Shire in London, which is where Lee Cox is based. It's a very short distance of a driving range, even though a lot of the best long drive pros in the world go there to practice. It runs out at about 220 yards, and of course, the top long drive pros are carrying it, you know, sometimes 200 yards past that, so into the woods back behind. But there was a little 50-yard kind of net that was right in the middle of the range. And all we tried to do, okay, was see that net. So like here, in the TrackMan here, tee to green air, west coast of Scotland, we're trying to look at that line before we get to impact. But we were only doing a little half swing. That was our first little bit we wanted to do for that. Little half swing, see that line or net, which we're trying to do, and just let it go. So as you can see there, just looking down, and absolutely straight away, little half swing. It's gone pretty much as far as all those other swings were. But what was I doing? I was releasing that head. So what we're always trying to do was trying to get Duval or get Annika through the golf ball. So really getting that head swiveling first, and it feels super, super uncomfortable. It really does. It does not feel great. But it really gets you freeing up that chest rotation through the golf ball. Just a little one again. Again, that's carried further than those demonstrations. So, the bad one, look, it's dead on the line. So that's where, for me, this was absolutely game-changing, because even just with that half swing, even he couldn't believe it of how much easier it was for me to create speed and hit the ball that little bit further and straighter doing it. I remember him saying, this is kind of a bit silly, this is a bit robotic. It was going straight over that 50-yard marker every single time with the tiniest little draw, just like that. So for me, it really freed up, as we know, that chest turn. If we are getting those eyes to look down to the target before impact, because we're swinging a golf club, of course, at speed, downswing is so unbelievably quick. So that's where, if our head swivels, our chest is going to turn with it. So that's where some golfers might have to be careful with this, because if you're someone who overly active, kind of rotates the chest early, club gets out in front of them, might not be the one for you. Or let's say if golfers get a little bit high with their depth at the top, hands and arms go straight up. If they try to get a little bit of swivel, the club's going to get out in front of them. So make sure your swing's in a good spot before you try this, like you got good depth and your sequencing is good, and just let it go. So if you're hitting those weak high shots or even those left shots, absolutely brilliant for you. But like I said, it immediately gave me more distance, even just with a half swing, and made me hit these nice compressed ones. Well, again, from there, it probably doesn't look like I'm doing it a crazy amount, because it is very uncomfortable of a drill to do. I mean, again, some of the best players of all time did this in their swing, which is incredible. But you can see, even if you commit to doing that feeling, it's just every time it goes nice and straight there. So what we ended up doing, we ended up absolutely building up the swing length. So we went a little bit longer. And for me there, hitting one that is, I mean, a hair of a push is something I never, ever did. Still on the green though, nicely, because again, it's keeping that club face nice and stable. It's not making me flip. So we just gradually built that speed up and the swing length up. Always a good way to go. Again, good analogy I like to use with my students online on Skillist is, let's say your goal for, you're in the gym, your bench press goal is 100 kilos, or for the guys out there in the US, 225 pounds. You're very unlikely going to hit that, in your first few gym sessions. Maybe some absolute athletic freaks can do that, but you're going to be gradually building it up over time. Now, luckily, it doesn't take you as long to do this as it does to get 100 kilo, 225 pounds of bench press, but you've got to start small and build it up. So like I did there, I was nailing it, doing the little half swings, and we just built it up. And even that one was a little bit off the bottom of the face. Look at that club path. Absolutely neutraled out. So such a key one of a drill to do. So again, absolutely, if you guys are struggling with that chest rotation, it is an absolute game changer. And of course, then we go into a bigger, fuller movement. And it will go through really, really nicely. So that one actually didn't get enough weight shift on that. That's one of the things I struggle with my cerebral palsy, is getting enough into that left side. So that's where we can have that little head swivel. Look at it beforehand. So before you even get to the golf ball. But one of the things, Butch Harmon, best golf coach in the world, coaches Tiger Woods in his prime.
And if Tiger doesn't leave me alone, I'm gonna hit him with his club.
He was always talking about, for players, is just letting the head release along the shot. So release along when the club is traveling through. So that's a really crucial one for a lot of golfers to do. Because of course, that's a good bridge between looking early and then going into a normal shot. So just in these few, I'm just gonna hit 3 balls. I'm just letting that head release through. I'm not necessarily on these swings going to look before the shot. Again, it's a hard drill to do. They're not all going to be perfect strikes because it's quite daunting, and it's only really the mental aspect of it is why that's hard. If you commit to it fully, it's easy to do, and I actually need to work on this at the moment, my swing. I'm getting a little bit stally with my chest. So on these, I'm just going to let the head release through with the club. So let the head release through with the club. And we're going to see some nice shots come about there. Again, look at that club path, 0.0. Actually hit that a little bit off the toe, which is why it turned over. So just letting that head release through with that club. I've put in the reps of looking just beforehand and let that head release through. Lovely. So again, look at this. Oh, club path was close to 0.0 again. One more and you're going to see really nice there. Letting the head release through. It's what Butch Harmon worked a lot with. Adam Scott was working a lot with Hideki Matsuyama, same thing. Hideki can really get overly too here, and just letting it go was a really good feel. So not quite looking at the target before impact, but just letting the head release. Oh, that was nice. And again, nicely down there, maybe a little bit off the bottom of the face, but absolutely, for one that wasn't struck perfectly. Gonna take that all day long. Look at that grouping there. Now that's pretty good. And those 3 were the ones where I kept my eyes down for too long. Now, if you want any confirmation that this works, there we go, it just takes that little bit of commitment. So guys, like you can see for me, it really made it easier to generate the speed at the right time going through the golf ball. If you're not turning that chest efficiently, you're generally not going to be delivering the speed at the right time. So don't be too bogged down in trying to keep the eyes and the head down for too long. It is going to anchor your chest rotation. It's one of the big myths in the golf swing that only amateur golfers tell to other amateur golfers. You'll hardly ever see a pro saying keep your eyes down for as long as possible. Like you see with my coming out of posture videos, there are reasons in your golf swing to why you would be coming out of posture. Just trying to keep the body down won't be enough. So if you're struggling with a lack of compression, weak shots, maybe a little bit out towards the left, this is going to be absolutely brilliant for you. And like those best players in the world, like your DeVols, like your Dustin Johnson, Annika Sorenstam, you name it, there's a lot more players who do that as well. Sam Horsfield being one who does it, a newer generation golfer. Don't be afraid to give it a go. So start small, build it up, and get that chest turning better through the golf ball. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button. If you want more golf instruction, just like this, hit the subscribe button and hit that bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video.